Hi, Dav here, and today we have a new episode in the art review series, and today we'll be checking out the work of Anastasia, let's go up, Grintsova here on Instagram. So she's a concept artist for, or in video games and movies, or Anagrin art. So wait, let me just see this, because I think it's a video. I want to see her process. So first video is showing the process of creating a little sketch. I hope you'll enjoy it. I love to hear your comments and thoughts. I like the way she draws it or paints. It's so like I see a lot of small strokes. She reminds me of a couple of artists like Craig Mullins, maybe a bit of LIXIN, perhaps Jeff Simpson as well for the other paintings, but they don't overcome. Oh, is that a watercolor brush? And we'll be seeing the following works, but she likes to use a lot of texture in her work. Like, it looks so rich looking at her work, even if it's like just a sketch and the background is sort of kept simple. Because of the richness of the textures, it just feels like a complete thing on its own, despite the somewhat empty background. So she starts off with like a kind of a loose scribbly line sketch, and then she'll render the shadows a bit with some like charcoal, a bit of like watercolor type of brushes, and I think it's a good mix. I think this is the kind of look that's typical in the concept art kind of space, you know, because they do emphasize brush variety just because it makes your paintings look a lot more interesting. Well, depending on, I think for films, for most films, most games that have a bit of realism, that's sort of a natural thing, because I know like in VizDev, or say for animation types of shows, you don't need that much texture. But for stuff like these, where you have like realistic scenes, it just makes sense because it sort of reflects what you're gonna do anyway. Oh, sorry. I'm not sure what she's doing. Okay, training the brush. Okay, so she's just adding detail to the horse. I do think there's a bit of photo bashing here a bit. I'm not even sure, because it's a very common thing where you dab in photos, even just for a base, and then you paint on top of it. And I know for like illustrators or for most like average artists, you may not like that, but it's sort of a common technique. And sometimes you do the painting first, and then you add the photo textures, or you do it before. Or you do it before and after. And I think in a way, you can paint with photos. And I think if you want to see how that works, just search for concept art photo bashing. Not everyone can do it well. Obviously the pros can, but I think it can really shine in the sketches because it's not even a full rendering, right? But somehow it seems to just blend. And that's kind of the thing there. You want the photos to blend well and not stand out too much. So a lot of like adjustment layers have to be done. A lot of paint overs have to be added on later on. Wait, I said that twice. Jesus, sorry. I was expecting like a video, but look at this. Now this one reminds me a lot of Jeff Simpson. Kind of like the side profile look. And wait, let me just go further back. Oh, in this case the background is like a toned, like a light gray. Interesting. And look at that. They're almost approaching the painting somewhat lightly, right? Like they're revealing the painting or whatever it is they're trying to draw. Slowly the word, or just slightly. I'm trying to find the proper word here. Look at that. Again with the textures. Well, I do think they have like a water edge. I think in Photoshop it's called wet edge, but in Clips to the Paint it's a watercolor edge, I believe. Like it adds a bold line around your brush. It doesn't work for all brushes, but I think for a basic round brush, I think it works. And it does give you that watercolor-esque vibe. And I like how it's not full, meaning You do see quite a bit of the canvas still, right? But I think this is typically how a good sketch would look like, where you don't try to fill in everything. Like you focus simply on like 10-20% of the image, and then that's where most of the detail is, the contrast is, and then from that point, going outside of that, that's where you sort of get a bit more abstract, and you just lessen the amount of information as you go further away. But look at the amount of strokes here, right? The overlapping strokes. They do like a lot of opacity in their work. Basically, when they paint, it's a different brush strokes, or it's brush stroke after brush stroke on top of each other. And it doesn't have like a super opaque look that you would just think oil paintings or gouache paintings, where they typically have like a super solid opaque look. Look at that. The brushes look really good. Oh. Look at that. Some designs. I'm not sure. Okay, small update, re-upload. So it's like, it reminds me of that film with Tom Cruise. It was about mummies in Egypt. I think it was supposed to follow Mummy. I forgot, the one with what's Fraser something? I forgot his name. Like the original Mummy movies. One of my favorite, or not one, but they're my favorite films. Only because it's like, well, first of all, it's actually good, but it's like my childhood types of like they were the movies of my childhood, so it's been imprinted on me in a way. But I do like the Tom Cruise version as well. But it's sad because it was kind of discontinued, or it's not, or there's no like continuation. Oh, right? It's like a mishmash of different photo textures as well in the background. And oftentimes, even if there's nothing that specific in the photos, you just want to put that in to capture like the texture, the color, the vibe, and then it's gonna be easy to like paint on top of that eventually. I think even Ross Draws did like a quick demo of that, where he would maybe he would do like a sketch first a little bit, and then he would add the photos after. But in the video I've seen, I think he just brought a photo in and then he built a painting on top of it. It's fun. It's fun to do. So these are like, I feel like they're from Egypt or something. Like Egyptian-esque pharaoh types of Ooh, I like it. There should be more movies about Egypt or ancient Egypt, right? Because there's talk about how the structures in Egypt are way older than the well, it's not just in Egypt, but in like the Mayan civilization and stuff like that, where the idea is that they've simply adopted that or those structures. So it's kind of interesting, like how old actually we are, right? But anyway, different subject for a different time. Look at this, right? It's so like rich with textures, right? The background is kind of abstract a little bit, but again, it kind of makes sense, because if you have so much of a rich variety of strokes here, if you added that or had that same amount in the background, I think it would be a bit too much. So in a way, you want to set things a bit back or lessen the amount of detail to make this whole composition look a lot more balanced. Interesting. I think she has a thing for watercolors, because that's the vibe. Or it's not just watercolor, but it's a common thing in her work. The kind of wash effect combined with these like super, almost like pencil-like strokes. Look at that. I like it. Yeah, I think for this kind of process, it can take some time, only because you are switching between different brushes, and that can take a while. Okay. Wait, whoa. Study watercolor on paper plus Photoshop. Big inspiration from watercolors by Zorn and Repin. I think I've heard of Zorn, but not Repin. Who's Repin? Because I've seen Zorn in like an art book somewhere, in like a bookstore. in the art section, which I would be in. I've seen this name, along with guys like Sargent or whatever with Repin. I've never heard of that. It's kind of a combo of it's like a mixed approach of traditional and digital. Wait, is this traditional? Let me just see. Mixed pencil on paper and plus texture brushes in Photoshop. Oh, yeah, okay. It's like a mixed media or traditional plus digital approach. I mean, look at this guy. Look at how this eye is so realistic. Okay, some mixer brush is happening, or maybe if it's not the mixer brush, it could be like the smudge tool. I just like this look because it's almost like you're not like you don't even know what you're doing, but it's as if the painting sort of just appears. That's kind of how the process typically looks like for these types of concepts. I would recommend LIXIN only because they have quite a bit of process videos online where you can see their time lapse. So it's their actual full process. So you can see how in the beginning it's kind of not that detailed. It's too loose. Like you would not expect it to be, like you can't imagine it being like a full thing. But as you keep going, or as they keep going, it eventually becomes something that's worthwhile to look at. I'm guessing some of these like watercolor strokes, they're actually just photos, but they've been like expanded or played around with. And then like not all of it, but like these parts, I think it's like a stamp. If it's not that, if it's not a photo, it could be like a stamp brush to add or to serve as like a base. So look at that. Really cool, and they don't shy away from showing the strokes. This is kind of like the painting that, well, I like many kinds of styles, but this is one of the first styles that made me want to be, maybe not want to be, but it attracted me to this more concept art space, because I do lean more on the art side instead of the design side, because with the design aspect you have to like think about a lot of things, and it's just not my thing. I'm more of like this. It's about like the vibes. So we have a panther over here. Look at that. Yeah, I see that. I love the freedom of your style. Like it doesn't seem like it has a beginning or end, or like it's not, it feels like a very fluid approach. Like there's a lot of randomness that's happening, or it feels very random, but you actually have something that's clear in the end. I guess it's because it's hard to notice the techniques used because it's a mishmash of different things. So I do like it. I do like it. Pretty cool. Wait, this one does remind me of Jack Sparrow a bit. The zombie kind of version. Creepy. Now for these kinds of moods, I think Jeff Simpson would be a good guy to recommend. This guy. This could be like a study or something, not sure. Let's see. Yeah, see, Craig Mullins. I do see that a bit in her work. I guess blended people are kind of influenced by guys like Craig Mullins, only because like they're one of the first like famous artists. So you can't, it's almost impossible to not know who they are. Wow, I do like the sketch of this knight. Look at how they were able to capture the reflectiveness of the armor, right? It's kind of blue here because it kind of shows you the sky, kind of yellow here because it shows you the ground. It's almost like they're in a Colosseum almost. That's the vibe anyway. Oh, let me just see the context. That's a cool sketch. Steady. That's a cool sketch. Yeah, this one's more of a gladiator, right? Look at, oh, I see a little bit of color dynamics turned on. Look at that. And look at the background. It's so like random and scratchy. And a lot of this is just the round brush as well, with a lot of opacity. And I think they do this, well, first of all, it's like a preference thing because it helps to build, you can build things a bit slowly this way. Because if you have like an opaque brush, it's too bold too soon. Like sometimes you don't even know what the thing is, so you want to use something something that's a bit more light that you can slowly build and solidify as you push through. But so there's that, but also having that opacity helps the texture underneath to show through a bit, right? Yeah, as much as I want to do like characters, you know, anime kind of stuff, these types of paintings still get to me, and I should have sessions where it's just me kind of doing even stuff like these. I just need to get off. Like I get off on doing stuff like these. Like I don't feel my artistic needs are met if I don't like paint. Oh, she's hot. She looks like a witch. Her eyebrows are like dots, or it's like a piercing or something. Crazy. Yeah, just they do lean a lot on like, it's not stylized. Obviously, it's a lot more realistic, which fits the you know, most of the industry, I guess, for both, especially films and games. Right, even the bit of texture for this like frame, that's so cool. Even the face has quite a bit of texture. I'm not sure how they're doing that. Look at the scribbly lines. It's so like nonchalant. And it just feels so artistic, right? And impressionist, which is, you know, which I'm a fan of. It's not like a rendering where it's so tight. It's like you're trying to see the full picture. Oh, I thought there was like a video. I was betrayed. Look at that. Look at the amount of brush strokes. That's so cool. This was a more modern version. Yeah, I bet the thing in the background is like a photo, but look at how like they expanded this or that the texture to be this big. That's why you can see a bit of a pixelation. Some scribble type brushes here to add some like texture. Even this guy was like painted. Look at how it was suggested. You know, I'm quite interested in knowing how to paint clouds because there are people, whether they do this approach where it's a lot more opacity based or if it's more opaque, like people who can paint clouds and make it feel like an actual cloud and even stylize it, it really impresses me. There's a bit more smoothing for the skin. Wait, I think we see more photos here. Ink plus Photoshop. Oh, it's a combo. Ink plus Photoshop. You know, the thing about this is you have to like scan it or take a picture of it and then bring it to Photoshop, which would take extra time. But, you know, if it's fun, it's fun. I do like the mixed media look. It looks really cool. Are these like kind of elvish types of people, you know, of the deep forests? Yeah. Oh, perhaps these are her actual like strokes she does manually, and then she'll make that into the background. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's nice. It almost feels kind of like smoke. Like if you look at the strokes, it feels like smoky. Like it's almost like the painting is appearing in front of you, right? Like via smoke or in a smoky kind of way. Just imagine how smoke moves in any kind of space. It kind of has that vibe where it just shh, shh. Hopefully you get it. Oh, we do see quite a bit of brush spacing here. Oh, that's the smudge tool. By the way, when you use the smudge tool, it can make this sort of effect, and I do recommend when you have like a flat brush, you sharpen the thing and it looks like actual oil painting, because it sort of elevates the like those streaks. It makes it feel a lot more thick or look a lot more thick, so it looks like actual paint. Yeah, this one's a lot more like, it's not as opacity based. There's a lot more like thicker strokes. We have like a rat. Look at that. Could be some kind of traveler. We have like a monkey serving like, or offering like a sword. A bunny. An educated bunny. Wait, does she do the paintings as well? Like natural, traditional paintings? Oh, so I do. She does have a background in the traditional arts. Pretty cool. Damn. Which is cool because people who can paint or who have like a strong traditional background, it kind of shows when they do digital. Like they're not as reliant on too many like digital tools, only because they already have, like, they bring their experience from painting into just this medium. I'm not saying it's better or worse, it just means it's different. For example, someone who's like so used to digital mediums, their workflow and their work in the end is going to look quite different, but both can produce some cool looking art. Nice cloak. She has like a long sword because the end of it, or the handle, is like the size of her arm. So it must be like a long sword. And it starts here, right? And I'm guessing it goes all the way to the floor. That's like that's half her body. So I'm not sure if it's her sword or if she's just carrying it for someone else. Who knows? Pretty cool. Pretty freaking cool. Oh my freak, what the creepy. So maybe it's like a cursed soldier or something. Maybe. I do like the blending, right? I'm guessing there was like a photo texture of like an armor and a person, and they photo bashed it and then painted on top of it. But again, to me, it looks effective. You do need to practice doing this. You know, the challenge there is not making anything stand out too much. Because if it stands out too much, it kind of takes away from the. Look at that! It's like a traditional oil painting. I like it. What's this? This one's cool. Right? It's like, not cyberpunk, but it's like Pirates of the Caribbean with some, right? Maybe that's Liang, maybe a bit of Liang mark a bit. I don't know. You know what? I'll write artists that may. Liang Mark, John Park, and who's the other guy? Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. I think, James PAICK. He has a similar style as well, James PAICK. It's PAICK. There you go. I've tackled a couple of artists too, but it was like years ago. It's been so long. But they also just look at ArtStation. If there's one site you should check out for these types of artworks, it has to be ArtStation because it's very like concept art, concept design, heavy. Get that cool idea. And then you can mold it to your will by painting, right? Yes, you can move things around in Photoshop with the last selection tool, but in the end, you have to learn how to paint over it, so it actually makes sense. But you don't have to paint everything because you already have some kind of texture, so know where to paint. Because if you paint over every single pixel, that's not gonna, you're just wasting time at that point. But look, it's like a samurai pirate, right? Very interesting. And they have guns? Interesting. Like a post-apocalyptic sort of thing. Yes, I'm gonna link this page in the description below. They do have their ArtStation linked on Instagram as well, right here. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Oh, she has a book. She's featured in a book. Sketching from the Imagination, Magic and Myths book today. I took part in this wonderful project. Oh wow, big shot. It's a 3D total that like their series of art books is quite popular. So she made it one day. Yeah. So yeah, I will link this page again in the description below and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.